Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today is Seth Geis, and from the Pastani Studio, John McTavish. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good man. How apropos that this is our second take on this review video. So unintentionally.
All right. So speaking of, we are talking today about the Fable Two Things. Cigar's a Toro Extra 6x54. Comes out of the Fábrica Centroamericana de Tobacco factory in Honduras. Wrapper is Honduran Habano and Connecticut. Binder is Honduran Habano, and the filler is from Honduras and Nicaragua. Price point is $12, and the cigar was released in April of 2023. So with all that out of the way, Seth, what was your overall experience like with this cigar?
I liked it, man. I like this creaminess, and I like the spice. I like the tobacco profile. There was this dry earth tobacco leather. It's good for the first two thirds. Final third it just kind of got a little flat, just with kind of the concept of what it was. But I'm gonna have to defend the cigar. It's a Honduran funky blend, man. I gotta go out on the limb for these things. John?
So these used to come out of the Nicaraguan factor, correct? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
Nica Sueño, I think
Nica
was the
Sueño,
initial.
yeah.
Well, like not this blend.
Yeah.
This is a new
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
brand, a new
Yeah,
blend for
the
them. But
brand has
the
previously come out of
original
Nica Sueño.
Fables, yes,
Right.
This is
So
now
I
with
didn't
this is Cavalier, right?
yes.
so I didn't know that the factory had changed. Like because I tend to go into these, kind of as blind as possible, just so I don't kind of color. But I did know Fable's coming out of Nica Sueño, so I was like, that seems really light for Nica Sueño tobacco, but whatever. And then as soon as I lit it up, I'm like, what is going on here? There's no question this is Honduran tobacco, and I think I'm not going to go ad nauseum about my notes because it is the most Honduran cigar that has ever been made. It's got that sort of musty, funky Honduran tobacco note, and I think if you're really into that, you'll really like the cigar. I found it pretty off-putting for most of the review. There's just like a lot of dryness, a lot of tannins, a lot of that musty, sort of mossy vegetal tobacco note. And I mean, there's some good components, like there's some creaminess at times, and there's some baking spices at times. But man, like it's so hard. It's so hard to sort of conceptualize to get through the cigar without sort of any other flavors to anchor it. I also had a bit of a draw issue. It was quite snug. And I think yeah, burn was perfect. So I had like a textbook average experience on this one. Aaron, how about you?
For me, the cigar started with dry mix of toasted cedar, mustiness, and light baking spice. I got some toasted earth that joined a bit later. Final third saw a light floral note join in. Um, the cigar started okay, kind of straddling that level between good and average, but from the second third on, the profile was firmly kind of in that average range as the relates were starting to take their toll. By the way, there were three of them in this cigar for me. Um, nice flavor notes kind of mixed in, but they weren't really able to have the influence to really make the profile one that stood out for me. So, not a bad offering for them out of a new factory, but not something I really see myself coming back to. Maybe I mean, I'm sure the relays took their toll on the blend, but I don't know if I'd even be interested in coming back to get a better burning version to see how it kind of shook out, kind of since you and Seth are already mixed, John. So, yeah, I don't know that I'd want to invest another few hours on this to see. All right, we're getting into the scores. We're going to start at the top with Seth at 6.82. I gave it a 5.55. John gave it a 5.3. So Seth, had that 6.82 matchup for you?
I mean, it's two things. It's just I got one thing, you guys got the other things. It's I bought into this Fable. So yeah, it's a little funky Connecticut Honduran thing. This was, we smoked this a little while back. I'd have to come back and to smoke this again. But I like these Honduran profiles. I kind of get enjoyment out of them, especially, spring and summertime. So
Yeah. My 5.55 matches up well. It was above average flavor profile. The burn just let the cigar down. I think it took the score down a bit, and I'm sure it probably nixed on the flavor profile a bit through the second half of the cigar. So, bit of a bummer, but kind of interesting release for the brand. All right, John, 5.3.
Yeah, that's textbook. 5.0 on the flavor and 0.35 on the construction is perfect, and that's a 5.35. So that is quintessential perfect.
Yeah.
For average.
Final thoughts from you guys on this one?
So obviously, I assume that all of his production is going to be coming from that factory going forward.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
I would
he doesn't.
assume
He
he
hasn't.
continues the original lines through Nika
Yeah, but
Sueño.
I think the other stuff's still with Nika
Yeah.
Sueño because that's where I
Okay.
was. At first, I was like, you see the band. I remember the original Fable because it has all
Yeah.
those little things. So I was like,
Yeah, a lot of
like you,
complexities
like
in the
you,
band.
John. When I first smoked it, I didn't look at the blend. I just thought, oh, Skip did something, kind of a barber pole, and I'm like, this isn't. This doesn't
Yeah,
smoke like
I
aroma.
almost messaged Skip. I'm like, is everything okay at the factory, bro? Because like, what's going on with your
I
tobacco?
quickly once I saw like the hunter, and I was like, wait a minute, and that's when I didn't know it. Like my question would be, are you still working with Skip? Are you not? Like, because it's it's a very different.
It's radically
We've only
different.
smoked, but it's even
yeah.
very different than like the Fable that we smoked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's the most. It's like it could not be the more polar opposite because his Nika Sueño blends were like
they're pretty
almost.
full.
Oh, like they were fuller than Neanderthals. Like they were just like full on earth bombs, leather bombs, like just like full. And that's what I say. Like when I tasted this, I'm like I have the right cigar, right? Like that's definitely the Fable band. Like what the hell's going on here? And I was like, okay. And then afterwards I looked it up and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that all checks out because yeah, there's no mistaking the Hunter and tobacco. I don't really I mean I don't really get the whole barber pole thing. Like I know that there's some popularity to it, but
Do you
I
think
think
there
more often
is?
I
Do you
think
think
well
there still
from the
is?
manufacturer's perspective, I think there's a lot of manufacturers that
I
like
think if you walk into a humidor and you see a cigar that's got 2 wrappers on it, it stands out from all the rest of the cigars that
Yeah.
are sitting there.
It is, but do you think that? I don't know. I mean, I know we smoked it, and I just don't see people. I just don't see being as popular as it like was, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It seemed. I don't know.
And I mean, this is a super subtle one as well, so it's not like
Yeah, it
this.
is
It's
super
not like a
subtle.
Maduro and a Connecticut or something like that that's really standing out. But
Skip does them. Skip does a lot of.
yeah,
Yeah, with his craft projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does James at Black Label kind of
Yep.
do a
Yeah.
subtle take on it with, so like I think it can be done well. I just think for the most part, almost universally, barber poles are generally a bad idea. Like just from the perspective of, they tend not to score well because I think it's really hard to get two different wrappers to play well together, so they're not, discordant. Anyways, be interesting to see what else he comes out with in the future.
All right, wherever you're catching this video, be sure to like and subscribe, but check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalace.com. Follow us on the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Two things.